been a little over a week now. Has it sunk in that you're now already soon to be Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I mean, and it took me a few days to recover, but I was, last week when I got home on Tuesday and Wednesday, I really felt like I had nothing to do, and like all leading up to it, from the time you get, nominated and the induction's going to happen, there's so much preparation that goes in it, and anxiety, and you just wanted to be there. So once I finally got there, I actually got to enjoy it a lot. And once that was done, it was like, okay, well, what do I have to do now? There was nothing to do. It was actually kind of weird. But now you fast forward a week, you come back here, you kind of relive it a little bit, and get to share it with obviously the Tampa community. But the whole Hall of Fame thing for me is it's definitely the ultimate honor. It's something that happens at a point where you can't really do anything about it, whether you are or not. You have to let the committee, take its course and let them decide. And the fact that they value the impact I had to put you in there is actually so humbling and flattering. And it's not so much the things that I did. To me, as I look around that room over there at the hall, and to be with those guys now, and I can't believe it. I'm part of that group, so that was really surreal to be surrounded with all the Hall of Famers. I think that come back for that ceremony. I think it makes it so special as I look across the room and probably see like 40 Hall of Famers that come in and participate. It's unbelievable.
How many people have come up to you and talked to you about how much of an influence you were on their career? I remember when you broke in, you talked so much about Matt Staslin and all that. Just guys in this room, Yannick Ward and David Martell.
Yeah, I don't think they've come up to me. These are things that I've read through the papers and online. I think they're all busy with their schedule. But that's the beauty, I think, of sports. It's just a wheel that keeps going. So for me, I looked up to people, and now the wheel keeps turning. Now people look up to me, and then someday they're going to look up to them. And the fact that you can have an influence on somebody's life, career, it's a special place to be in. And there's always somebody looking up at you. And like I tell my kids that, there's always somebody looking up at you and watching you what you're doing every day. So go out there, try to be the best you can be all the time, because you never know who's looking at you. And the fact that you can influence people's lives a little bit and give them inspiration or whatever it is, it's pretty cool. And for me, it was Matt Naslund, and at one point it was Theo Fleury, and I got to play with Theo, and like the fact that you can see guys do something, like, well, why can't I do it? They did it. It looks so like impossible almost when as a young kid, but as you grow, you realize, well, if they did it, why can I do it? If they were an exception, why can I be an exception? So you kind of help broaden your vision a little bit on your goal that it looks so like hard to get. Actually looks a little almost like easier to touch, because you associate yourself with people in front of you that kind of are similar to you, size-wise, whatever. And so for me, the fact that I was inspired by people and then you get to inspire others is actually a pretty cool things to go through.
Mark, obviously it was a whirlwind day for you in the Hall of Fame, but what was the most emotional moment you think for you that, of course, that day that you kind of had to, you can catch some chills at some point?
Sitting down in that seat, I had to catch myself a bunch of time. Obviously, when the guys came from behind the curtain there, the Lightning players and the staff, I got a little choked up. And when Dave got on stage, I got a little choked up. Of course, Dave's like, just relax. It's all right, just relax. I don't mind feeling. I think those are great emotions to feel, because it's real. And it was special, and when I talk about my mom, my wife, I get stuff, and my dad, like every now and then you kind of get that emotion again, and that's, you know how far you've come, and people along the way that are right there next to you, that it all kind of crashes together as you're up there on stage, and it's fun.
Marty, so many accomplishments in your career. At some point, after you've achieved those and you're playing, did the Hall of Fame ever cross your mind during your playing days that said,
No,
you know what, I've put up a lot here?
Yeah, never. While I played, never.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think there's a player out there that gets in the league and like, God, I want to have a Hall of Fame career. I think to me it was always about short-term goals. You know, at the beginning, just trying to get in. You know, and if I was trying to get in the lineup, and if I was on the fourth line, well, let's try to get in the third line, and let's try to get in the second line. Okay, and I'm a top player, score 20. Well, let's try to score 30. You know, and like every year you're trying to, you know, always try to better your faith by, you know, by hard work and just get higher in the depth chart or whatever it is. And I remember like once I was really in, I got to win a cup, you know, and it's like, oh, once you do that, well, I got to win another one, you know. And but in terms of like thinking, oh, I want to be a Hall of Famer, like your actions will speak for what you end up being. So for me, I was trying to play as hard as I could every year, and when I got done, I remember like people say, Marty St. Louis Hall of Famer, you know, and I asked myself that question, and honestly, whether I am or not, it wouldn't change how I feel about what I did. It wouldn't. I was very happy and comfortable how I came in, how I went out, and what I did in between. The fact that I was part of the conversation alone was very flattering. And like I said, I was going to let the process take its course. And if they value what I did enough to put me in there, unbelievable. But I wasn't going to let that taint my view on what I thought I did. So it's a special club to be in. So you can't take anything for granted. So you know, and it's funny because everything came hard for me, I feel, you know, especially early on in my career, and nothing was ever given to me. I feel like this was almost like, oh my God, they gave that to me, you know. It was like the easiest thing I had to go through. I was first time ballot, which is, was very flattering, and cool, obviously cool club to be part of.
Without mention, I wouldn't want to put you on the spot with any names, but with this Lightning organization, the way they do things, in contention every year, do you see possibly some more down the road Hall of Famers coming from the Tampa Bay Lightning?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, there's a lot of great players that played here, and there's good players playing now. You know, so I think there's a lot of guys are on the way to Hall of Fame careers. You know, but they're still in the middle of their career. You know, and some guys that played here have had a Hall of Fame career. You know, and they got to go let the process takes its course. You know, and I think this is a Hall of Fame organization to begin with. You know, with Mr. Vinnick at the top. I mean, I drive around. I stayed at a friend's house last night back where I used to live, and driving around this morning, I stopped at Starbucks where I used to stop, and actually saw some familiar face. Was funny. It's just all driving down, everything's kind of changed and stuff, and you get closer to the building, you can see the transformation, not just you know, the on ice stuff. I mean, it's a great place to play, great place to watch a game. You know, what Mr. Vinnick has done on and off the ice in the community. I mean, it speaks volume to where the franchise is and where it's going. You know, they're always in the mix the last few years. You know, they'll win again. I can't wait till they win again. I'll be here. You know, this town is such a great sports town, and the fact that I felt like I played a part and help where this team is now is great. And now I think it can go even further. And where it's at right now, it's such a great place. It's fun.
Time for a couple more.
What did it mean when that group of Lightning players showed up? Like, you didn't know they were coming, did you? They just showed up and you saw them?
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely, see, to me, the most important part of the game, to me, was, you know, was being with my teammates. I love playing, I love being my teammates, whether it was back of the bus, back of the plane, dinners. So the fact that they were there, like, that meant a lot, because that has nothing to do with hockey. That's friendship, that's relationship you create with people. So to see that staff, not just a player, but that staff that I was with for 14 years, I mean, I meant it. It's a game of inches, and those guys, sometimes you gain those inches with those guys, and I know I was high maintenance. I know I was high maintenance. Okay? But I wasn't high maintenance in like a jerk kind of guy. I was particular with my stuff, and those guys could help me. I couldn't sew. I couldn't get on a sewing machine, or I couldn't, if I was injured and stuff. Like I remember Tom Mulligan coming to my house, because I had a broken foot, and I wanted to make sure I could get the swelling down and get in the skate the next day. So what people see out there is that's a finished product. There's so much that goes into that, and those guys are a huge part of that.
You talk about challenges you always set for yourself throughout your career. What's next? Coaching, front office? You want to go back to work in the NHL?
Yeah, I mean, I think I will eventually. I think right now, just really enjoying being with my kids and coaching them, and being in everyday life, like the day-to-day stuff. It's like tomorrow morning I'm flying back to Connecticut, and we're going to do quick Thanksgiving, and I'm on a plane to Toronto with my middle guy, back to Toronto for his tournament. So every weekend we travel, whether I have 1, 2, or 3, or me and my wife will split, and they go different direction. Sometimes my dad comes in too, because it's hard we need to play a man-on-man defense, and there's only 2 of us, so we need to pick somebody else. So just that, on the ice with them every night, 2 or 3 nights a week with their teams, and we go compete on weekend. It's fun. I like being in the trenches, and I see people, you missed the game, I don't. I get to compete every weekend. It's strategy and be on the bench with them. It's unbelievable. Will I do that at the next level? I think I would. I'd like to think that. I think there'll be a time for that. It's just not right now. I watch a lot of hockey. I love the game, and I can't see myself being really far from it.
Marty, what are you proudest of?
Last one.
Of your career? Maybe not an accomplishment, but
I think I'm mostly proud of have been able to have a great career and also build a family along the way. Because when I retired, I jumped right into that, and it wasn't like I wasn't at the beginning stage of my family. I was right in the middle of it, and it's hard to be an athlete and do that too. And I give credit to my wife. She was, still is a great mom, and to take care of those boys. And for me, I could, kind of retire and just dive right in. And all right, what do I do? What's my job? So we're able to really and have a career and build a family at the same time. To me, I guess that's what I'm probably the most proud of.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. All right.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, guys.